Tabletop Tuesday, episode 11. Welcome to the middle of January. This January
Can't
feels
be.
like it has gone so fast. How are these weeks flying by like this, Dan? What the hell is going on here?
I don't know. I'm scared and disoriented.
It is alarming and a little disconcerting. Yeah, yeah. Just before the show started, Dan was talking to my wife Renee and kind of giving him the lowdown about the different things that have been happening to us since the first of the year, which have been grand. Hashtag sarcasm. But that being said, how's your week been?
Pretty good actually, considering we had a big rainstorm that lasted for several days,
Mm-hmm.
and the other night I kept hearing our bedroom wall is right on the hallway of
Mm.
our apartment building, and so we hear people walking up and down all the time. It's great when the college kids come home at 2:30 in the morning after being at the bars all night and just vomiting on all over each other. It's awesome. It's the best. But
Hashtag
anyway,
sarcasm.
the point is that we hear things in the hallway a lot. But the other night we heard just like whomp, whomp, whomp. I was like, what the heck is going on? So I got up and I went out in the hallway, and there was a maintenance guy from my apartment complex building a sandbag wall in the hallway because the hallway was flooding.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and we're
Okay.
on the third floor.
Yeah.
So, like I was telling your wife, all the people on the first and second floor drowned. They're all dead.
Wow.
It's tragic.
That Hey, does that mean that there are openings
It's
in your
tragic.
apartment building now?
There would be openings. They're a little moist right now,
Okay.
but yeah, there's some rooms to let.
Understood. Understood. Actually, that dark joke aside, how was I know the garage is at the bottom of everything. Like, were your cars okay? Like,
I
was
haven't
everything
even.
swimming?
No, I no.
Okay.
Strangely enough, the garage is well angled and has drains.
Oh,
So
handy.
there didn't appear to be much of an issue. Granted, I did not get in a car to go anywhere during that. So, but my wife did go to work at the office today, though, and she did not express any dismay about her car being waterlogged.
Or
So,
perhaps floated away to another space
yeah,
or anything like that. Well, that's good
yeah,
to hear. That's good to hear.
she has not.
If you are in Southern California or one of the many other areas of the country that are subjected to severe flooding right now, really sorry to hear about that. Hope y'all are doing well and keeping yourselves dry.
We've got
We
another
are
storm
getting
coming this weekend.
yeah, yeah,
Or
and that
last weekend by the time anybody sees this. So we'll see if I'm still around next week to record next week's episode.
good grief. Yeah, no
Or if
kidding.
I'm
Well, the funny thing is, like, I'm used to the Pacific Northwest getting a lot of moisture. It's a known joke. It's a thing. Like we've been
yeah,
getting the same storms you've been getting.
it's part of your culture.
Yeah, yeah. But apparently, like we've gotten it bad. We haven't gotten it as bad as California.
Mm.
California as a state is just getting rinsed away right now. It's you guys are
Hmm.
getting something like 20 trillion gallons of water dumped across your landmass right now.
The LA
And
River actually looked like a river for once.
I saw the
It was deep and
yeah,
wide and rushing.
rough. Yeah.
Never seen it like that before, ever.
Yeah.
At least not to my memory. And I've been here for 20 plus years.
I was going to say you've been there a long time.
So
Yeah.
anyhow,
Well,
we'll see what
uh
happens.
yeah. So, in while talking about a lot of liquid, what are you drinking today?
I have today a Stiegel Golden Brow.
Oh, I
I don't
like
know why I
Stiegel.
said that with that accent. Stiegel is actually Austrian, so
Should sound like Arnold.
yeah,
Stiegel.
yeah, ich trinke the Stiegel, yeah.
I do like Stiegel.
Boop. I did that for old man Jeff. He said he loves the sound of beer cans opening when we're on the podcast.
Okay.
Heroesjourneypodcast.com, and so that is that's for Jeffy Pants. So
Nice.
gold, it's a lager, Stiegel Goldbrow. So
Ooh, it's pretty.
it's a good color. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not too pale, but very. I mean, it's translucent. You can see right through it.
I
Good,
do like a good
good. Look at you
good
can see all the
lager.
bubbles. Look at all those
Yeah.
bubbles.
No, it looks like a really good beer, dude.
That is some good stuff there.
Yeah.
This is the only place I've ever seen this is at the wine bottle shop. Strangely enough,
Really?
that my wife and I frequent. It's 99% wine, but they've got about a half a dozen beers there in the fridge as well. And this one I happen to enjoy a lot. They're in pint cans. I mean, there's these big cans,
Huh?
point nine. Yeah, 1 pint, point 0.9 fluid ounces. And they're relatively cheap. So they were like $3 for
Not
one of
bad.
these. And that's, I mean, you'd get as much beer as you would get if you went to a bar
And you paid, what do you pay for
for
a beer in LA now for a pint?
at the pub Michelle and I go to, the cheapest beer that you can get on tap is like $8. And
Woo!
that's not even a full pint. That's 12 ounces.
No kidding.
So,
Oh, come
and
up
they
here where
go
I can
up
show you how to
to
drink.
10 or 11 every now. And at one time I saw one that was at 12. They do have a happy hour from
Sure,
3 to 6 on
sure.
weekdays where the Scrimshaw Pilsner and the Fremont Lush IPA are $6.
Nice,
So
nice.
there's that. But generally they're between $8 and $10 at the pub.
Wow.
So this I could buy 3 of these and get more beer
Three
for
for one.
the price of one at the pub.
Nice,
So what do you got?
nice. I hurt my throat last week while I was cooking, and so I've been very
Wait,
gentle.
hold up. What?
I
What?
I swallowed. I was tasting the food that I was making, and I must have breathed while I was trying to swallow, and I choked myself really, really, really bad, and I hurt my throat. And so it's been
Idiot.
healing. Yeah, no, it was. There's nothing that makes
God.
you feel stupider
Did you
than
inhale like hot smoke or something? What do you mean you choked yourself? Or like literally food was lodged in your
literally
throat?
food was stuck in my throat.
Oh crap. Did you
Yeah.
Heimlich yourself or
No, I didn't have to. My body created such
expelled?
a massive cough that it came out on its own, but it was such a hearty cough that it hurt itself. So I'm a little scratchy as
Uh,
my throat heals. I actually was really worried that I like got sick, and I've essentially been home, not necessarily in lockdown, but I just haven't gone anywhere for like a week, and so I was like, did I get sick? How did I get sick? I haven't seen anybody. What the hell happened? But
what
no,
are
it
you
turns out I just
talking
hurt
about?
myself.
You guys go out all the time. I follow you on Instagram. You forget, and I
We
see the
later,
pictures that
Graham.
you post.
We later,
Oh, we
Graham.
had such a lovely holiday. All the 400 people that we went and saw.
We
Give me
did
a
that all in one
break.
day.
I've been home. Shut
One
up.
day.
You're a
One
liar.
day.
You're a
I
lying
am
liar who
not.
lies. I'm
Oh my
on to
God.
you, sir. I am on to you.
So I'm
Anyway,
drinking Twinings English breakfast tea with
out of
honey.
a fun Disneyland mug.
Yes,
That's
this
a
is the Adventureland mug that
that
was
is a
available.
big mug.
It is not. It is one of
It
our
looks
smaller
big.
mugs.
Really, it looks
This
big.
one holds.
Your head just must be very small because it looks half the size of your head.
This holds 12 to 14 ounces, and I can't remember which one it is. But we normally drink coffee out of our 16-ounce mugs. So
I'm sorry. You have 16-ounce coffee mugs? That's a
multiple
pint. That's a full
16-ounce
pint.
mugs. Yeah,
That's ridiculous. That's
yeah.
too big.
It's not.
That's too big.
It is half as much as I need in the morning. Renee and I will both do two 16-ouncers.
Wow.
We'll clear a 12-cup coffee maker every morning.
Yeah, Michelle and I do that too.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I just think it's gluttonous to have a coffee mug that's a full pint. That's just ridiculous.
It makes that coffee good. Makes that coffee good.
Uh,
So
okay,
yeah,
well, There
Yeah.
we go. There's what we're
That's
drinking.
that's drinking. That's drinking. As usual, the links to these will be down in the description below, if you want to be able to check those things out. I did notice that not a lot of people clicked on the Bailey's Irish Cream link,
I told
so
you. I told you that was a
yeah,
superfluous link. It was unnecessary.
I'm still going to do it because we made a promise. We're going to stick to it. Speaking of promises, let's check out our weekly progress.
No games for old men.
My 5 diopter glass magnifying lamp, floor lamp, should be here either tomorrow or the next day.
That's really exciting.
So I'm looking forward to that. So 5 diopter is 2.25 magnification.
Okay.
There was also a 3 diopter, which is 1 3/4. I didn't see the point in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
God,
went
I
with the
wonder what-
biggest. I went with the biggest I could find available. I imagine there have to be more magnification, but my concern was if it's too magnified,
It'd be
that
too
it would
much.
be so disorienting. Because, like I said last week, I tried yours out once and I couldn't use it.
Yeah.
So I think with practice, I believe Nelson, hi Nelson,
Friend of the show, Nelson.
said that he's used one before and he found it odd, but got accustomed to it. So hopefully, just with practice, I'll get there. So
Nice.
so that will be here before the weekend. So I may be spending the next storm's weather painting. Hopefully.
Great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It was $100 about.
That
It's a
that's
floor
reasonable.
lamp. It's
Yeah.
a floor lamp, so I'll be able to set it right next to me and then just go.
and it won't take up any table real estate, which has
I
been the
don't have
only. Yeah.
I don't have table
Yeah.
real estate, and I didn't get one with a clamp because those generally need a really good lip on the table to grab onto, and my table doesn't have a lip. So, stupid modern table for some reason. Who designed that table? I don't know, but it wasn't something that was in consideration when Michelle and I bought it.
Right.
I didn't
right.
need to clamp lights and podcast stands to it when we bought it. So, yeah. So 100-ish bucks. I think mine was on sale, 7% off for some reason.
If you've got the link, I'd love to be able to share that with the people so that they can.
It is the Bright Tech 5 diopter magnifying lamp. I will find a link and send it to you. Yes.
Word. Link in the doobly doo. There it is.
That is correct.
Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Excellent.
How did you do on your goals? I've been following your Instagram, our Instagram progress.
I was going to say, yeah, that's
on
no game.
your painting of the your commission.
So the test model was approved, and you can see images of that right here.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
We've gotten some really nice comments on the Instagram. It is very good for my ego
Really?
and my
Oh,
paint
good.
ego. Yeah, and people have been very kind about that.
Oh, that's good.
To the point where somebody asked for a like, can we get a lesson? And I don't know how to set
What?
up my thing to be able to do a painting
A
tutorial or
lesson?
anything like that. But yeah, it did take a little extra time to get approved and everything, but it was. And now I'm batch painting the remainder of the foot soldiers, so I'm not as far as I thought I would be. If I had been I need just a couple more hours to be able to get them all done, but there are 6 of these right now. And then once those are done, I've got 3 more foot soldiers to get done, but I'm getting the process down really, really quick. So it's coming along. And then I was wrong. There are not 3 characters. There are 4.
Oh, you're
But
sunk. That's it.
3 of them are
Ruined.
like assassin folks,
Ooh,
and I've got
that's
a
a
plan
neat
for
looking
them.
cape
They're
with the
cool looking,
holes
right?
in it, the damage.
Well, they're
to
not
it.
damage. They're actually, I'm going to paint them as magic cloaks. So they're going to be fading into being dark, but they're going to start in an etheric
Oh,
blue magic down
got
here,
it.
like
Okay,
they're
so those are
summoning out of the shadows.
yeah, so those are
Yeah,
wisps of magic energy.
yeah,
Oh, okay, I thought it looked like a
yeah.
tattered cloak and
It
just all
does. It
white,
could
but
totally be, but then when you take a look at their senior mage, it's
hmm
all it's all that.
that looks
Yeah, it's got
like
a little bit
their
more
cloak is
space.
made out of a centipede,
Uh-huh.
which is
Uh-huh.
gross.
Centipede hitting there on
Neat.
the back like
That's a
teeth.
good looking model right there.
These are
Dynamic.
those are
Those are
from
GW?
they are and
Okay.
they're from Age of Sigmar
Oh,
Underworlds. They're one of the war bands.
Warhammer Underworlds, or has
Yes.
that been rebranded Age of Sigmar
No, it's
Underworlds?
Warhammer Underworlds, but it's in the Age of Sigmar
Oh
universe.
man, you just
Yeah.
like 5 people just unsubbed because you got that wrong.
You know what? Don't unsub. Just yell at me in the comments. Correct me in the comments. That's the better way to go.
Worst case scenario, just click the thumbs down button
Right. Right. I'll take
and
that
then leave a
engagement.
comment and say, "Curtis, I thumbs down this because you got that wrong."
Please do.
Yeah,
Please do as much
need
as you
that.
want. But the Underworlds war bands are really cool looking. Like I bought the Witch Hunter ones just because I
Mhm.
want them for my Mordheim Witch Hunter Witch band. Mordheim Witch Hunter war band.
Wow.
Um, and uh, and yeah, no, you can get for just about every race. They've got some kind of cool specialty models. And so
Well,
yeah, they're gonna.
you've got a game with a small model count, so you want those models to be eye catching.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't Warhammer 40,000 where you've got 50 models on the table, and so you kind of need them to be a little bit uniform so that you can paint them faster.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's what I like about Kill Team is every single orc in my Orc Commandos Kill Team looks unique.
yeah,
They all
yeah,
they're all different.
yeah.
And that's really cool. It takes a while to paint. Still not done. They're table ready, but I'm still not done.
Right.
But it really adds something to the game to be playing this with these really attractive models.
Yeah.
I don't mean like attractive like you want to go on a date, but
I
eye-catching
mean, I'm with it.
models. I'm not going to yuck your yum if you've got a relationship with your models, but
It's also made it like, I've got several squads of Space Marines that I use for Kill Team, and to be able to make them look like they aren't just clone troopers where they're stamped out and exactly the same, being
right.
able to put some extra stuff on them, it does make you care about them more. I think that's why people like Necromunda
Right.
so much too. It's
Yes.
like the individual gangers each have personalities.
And your Mordheim, which you are a big fan of. Right? Those all
Oh, yeah.
are very, very characterful models.
Well, to
was
the
that the
point where-
first? Oh no, Necromunda was first, right?
As far as like skirmish games,
Small squad skirmish games that had that
if we
style
don't
of-
count Space Hulk, then yes.
I don't count Space Hulk, I guess, because like we've discussed a few episodes ago, we both played Space Hulk. It was one of our introductions to Games Workshop games.
Yeah.
And really, it was just some Space Marines and some Gene Stealers. That was
Yeah.
it. And
They
all looked
didn't
the
have
same.
personalities.
They all looked
It
the
was-
same. Maybe you had a
yeah.
sergeant that had a power sword instead of a chain
Power
sword.
fist. Yeah.
But for the most part, they all looked the same.
Yeah.
But what I meant was Mordheim or Necromunda the first to have
Necromunda was
a
the
game where
first
they were
skirmish size with personality. Yeah.
unique models where everybody you could name them and know which ones they were. Keep stats.
Yes, I'm gonna say yes on Necromunda.
And if Curtis is wrong, make sure you let him know in the comments below.
Please do. Please do. And then somebody tag.
And tell us what the first skirmish
Arbiter
game was
Ian.
that you played.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Arbiter Ian. What?
Oh no, I was just saying somebody tag Arbiter Ian and tell him to give me what for and re-educate me on my history there.
Yeah, you might have to be a guest on his show so he can school you.
Right, right. In Education
That would be
by
fun.
Arbiter
Actually,
Ian.
that would
That
actually
would be
be
cool.
fun.
That would be cool.
I would not mind sitting on a Zoom for 30 minutes with Arbiter Ian.
Good times. Do you have any goals for this week then?
Well, as far as goals, just figure out how to paint with 2.5 times magnification. That's going to take some training,
Yeah.
some practice. I don't want to say that I'll have X number of models done, because I've failed that goal 2 or 3 weeks in a row now because I can't freaking see
Right.
anything. So now that I've got the solution, and hopefully it's a good solution, I did make sure I got a lens that was glass, not plastic, because plastic warps and blurs, and the
It's hard to
glass one
clean.
will be clearer. So I just want to make it work.
Cool.
That's
Cool,
it.
cool.
You?
I am I would like to finish the Foot Soldiers still. That's still my plan. Is be able to finish it. I might be able to finish them by tomorrow, actually, but I need to pace myself because, as you found out from Renee before the show started, there's been a lot going on,
Yeah.
and dealing with having a car broken into and trying to get everything fixed, and just the fact that apparently because of car part problems and the number of cars that are being stolen in metropolitan areas and a particular TikTok trend that involves our particular automobile,
Lovely.
it's actually difficult to even get it into a place that can fix it at all at the moment. So great for a car that
It's too bad.
we were planning on selling in like a week and a half anyway. So
Oh no, were you really?
yeah, I guess that's our weekly progress. Now it's time for other tabletop things.
No games for old men.
Dan, we've talked a lot about games that we like and how we got into them and things like that.
Yeah.
Particularly with the news that's going on right now with the Wizards of the Coast OGL and changes like that.
Did you see Kobold Press's tweet?
Uh-huh.
Wizards of the Coast, hold my beer. Oh, I'm curious to see what they're gonna do. That tells me they've got a game system that they're about to release, right? Why would they troll Wizards of the Coast like that if they're not like, okay, well, we've got a game system we're about to release? And
the Black Flag Project. Yeah. It's
Black Flag Project. Is it
it's on its
pirate-based?
way. I don't know.
Is it pirates?
They haven't released that stuff yet.
See,
And
the
then
pirates are
MC
hacking. Oh wait, that's Black Hat. Never mind.
MCDA. There's another game company that has moved up their development of their own game, and then Pathfinder has already said, well, we purposely differentiated Pathfinder Second Edition, so we're not going to make any more 5e material that's related, and maybe we release a third edition so that we're completely dissociated from the OGL.
They'll have to come up
So-
with an entirely different game system, right?
They did, though. That's what Pathfinder Second Edition is.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they're fine. They're
Yeah,
not
they-
sweating this at all.
They remained in the OGL as a way to cover their butts in case there was any lingering crossover that they didn't identify when they released it. So there is conversation that a full review will be done, and then a third edition would be released that's completely divorced from the OGL,
right.
just to keep it safe.
Right.
But yeah, I saw a meme on the Instagrams that said, Wizards of the Coast, you idiots! Why would you pick a fight with thousands of rules lawyers?
I saw that too.
And
You might have screenshotted that and put that in our game chat or something. I don't know, because I've seen.
I think
saw
I
that.
shared it as a story for No Games for Old Men, actually.
I'm curious to see what happens with products like Critical Role.
Mm. Well, let's not forget,
And
Critical Role started as a Pathfinder game.
right,
Yeah.
I'm saying right like I knew that. I don't think I knew that, but okay.
Yeah. Right.
So do they go back to it? Do they finish season 3
Mm-hmm.
and switch systems?
I think that's happening.
Or Mercer he's becoming a game designer. I mean, he has designed character classes, he has designed game worlds. All I say all he needs to do, like it's a simple thing, is come up with a game system
Right.
with rules. But I feel like that's in the conversation for him.
Oh,
and
sure.
and maybe the entire Critical Role cast. They may all work together to come up with something now in light of this. If
Well, and they work with a
Wizards
publisher
of the
too.
Coast, huh?
They work with a publisher too, who I'm
Well,
sure.
they are a publisher now, Darrington Press.
Yeah, that's
They
I didn't know that
have
was the
that,
same
but
group. I thought it was a separate company, but it Darrington Press is their thing.
Darrington Press, yes, Darrington Press is named after one of Sam Riegel's characters from a previous campaign.
Got it.
So they've got that going. I know that Mercer is listed as the author of a couple of printed products by Wizards of the Coast,
Right. Yeah.
but also, is it Green Ronin? Green Ronin?
Yes.
Is that a publisher?
Yes.
Green Ronin Press. Is that
Yeah.
it? Hey,
I'm gonna check
if I
to be
got it
sure.
wrong, go ahead and put a comment. Anyhow, so he's got multiple avenues which give him experience publishing things from or through another entity, and now he's got the Critical Role team. They have Darrington Press. So I'm really interested, more so than I thought I would be, to see what they specifically do.
Mm. Mm.
I discovered Critical Role. I don't know why this became a Critical Role segment, but I discovered Critical Role when I was working at my previous corporate job for a company that shall not be named. I was in a real bad place,
Mm-hmm.
and I discovered Critical Role and really got into it. I looked forward to coming home on Thursday nights and pouring myself a beer and just watching that episode. Loved it, loved it, loved it. So while I haven't had the time to watch the latest season, there's still great respect. I have great respect for the Critical Role production entity as it is, and the fact that they started as a YouTube show on Geek and Sundry and then have become their completely own thing, where they've got their own show, they've got their own publishing company now, they've got their own merchandise going on. I don't know if I doubt they're producing that themselves. I don't know, but I mean, Gilmore's Glorious Goods, is that, if they do come up with a production company that, making merchandise, that needs to be
Right.
what it's called. Gilmore was from season 1. Anyhow, I will shut up about Critical Role now. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hijack the segment.
No. Actually, this
it was-
totally plays into what we're going to be talking about, because with the OGL, it's been very disruptive in the domination that D&D has over the role-playing space. And now people who are talkative in this community and who have the influence to be able to show people other games have been talking about other games. And
Right.
so, systems are one thing. Systems and the crunch and everything are... They kind of don't necessarily matter for this part of the question, because when you find a game you want to play, you're going to learn how to play it. And assuming, all things being equal, that you don't have something against the rules of the game, you're probably going to be fine playing the rules of the game. Lord knows I still play 40K even though that rule system is a complete mess right now. Um, I've been through the heady days of things getting weird at the end of 3 before 3.5 and then the rules discussions in 5e. So, but you find a way. You find a way to play. And when we talked about fluff versus crunch a while ago, so many people came out to say fluff, like the background, the world, the
That
characters.
was
Those are the things that
that
they
was my
connect to.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about today, as the community is exploring the idea of alternate games that aren't D&D related, what game settings are important to you? What settings do you like to play in? Um, uh, like, is it different depending on the kind of game that you play? Do you like, if it's a role-playing game, do you like it all to be high fantasy? But if it's a tabletop game, do you like it to be historical war? If it's a board
Mm.
game, do you like it to be like Secret Hitler? You know, have you not heard of that game?
I would prefer no Hitler in my life, please. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
it's actually a very good game. It's quite a good game.
Secret
And
Hitler.
it's
Is that one of those social deduction games?
yes,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not a fan of those because I'm not socially adept enough to play them. I have a very bad poker face, for starters.
Then you definitely don't want the Hitler card in that one,
Mm-hmm.
for sure, for sure. But you get what I'm saying. Like, how does
yeah.
the game setting affect what games you like to play? And is there a time when it doesn't?
Are you asking me?
I'm just putting it
Am
out
I
there
is
in
the
general.
floor open?
The floor is open.
Okay.
Yeah. First of
I
all, let's
like
start with what settings do you like?
what settings
I'm just
do I
saying
like?
that.
Okay,
No, I'm just kidding.
we're not talking game worlds, right?
Could be. Could be.
Settings. The first that I ever played was Dungeons and Dragons. The red box basic
Right,
set.
right.
That was the first role-playing game I ever played with my cousin, who's a few years older than me, and he would run a game for me. So I have a massive affinity for that. And that was back when my age was counted in single digit. So it's been a long time.
Right.
Since then, I don't feel like I've played enough other either settings or game systems to really have an informed opinion on that. I know I can answer that I would love to play more Cyberpunk and or Shadowrun.
Mm. Mm. What is appealing about those for you?
I like for Shadowrun, I feel like that is an interesting mix of Dungeons and Dragons and Cyberpunk. It's you're taking a sci-fi and a fantasy, mixing them together, because Shadowrun, you've got elves and dwarves, the metahumans as they call them in that game setting. And I tried to run I think it was second edition Shadowrun back when we were in high school or college, and I had I don't think we played more than once or twice because I couldn't
2 games.
I didn't know what to do with it as a game master. I didn't understand it well enough to be able to run a game, and I wasn't comfortable enough. I didn't have a yes and mindset then. So you have to have that to be a good game master. You got to roll with it. If something you can't design a game that's so regimented that if your players go left instead of right, it torpedoes your entire story.
Right.
I
Right.
just didn't. I wasn't developed in that way yet. So I think just that does not answer the question. I'm just riffing here. So what do I like about it? I enjoy sci-fi for one thing. Fantasy was my first genre environment, and that's why I love fantasy novels and I love fantasy movies, and just I feel like that's my thing.
Mm.
But then also during a formative period in my life, I started getting into science fiction, and so
Mm.
I enjoy the speculative nature of that, thinking what can the world become,
Mm-hmm.
and just playing in that environment. I think that's what appeals to me about cyberpunk.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, Shadowrun is just a mixture of those two environments, and that appeals to me as well. I've played video games, Shadowrun video games, but actually a role playing game, that's what I miss. That's what I would love to try. That's a very long and rambling and not at all answer to your question, but that's all I've got. I just
Well,
don't have the experience.
I think that video games count in this because a lot of them have really detailed settings as well, you know? So I don't think it's out of the realm to say, but from what I understand of what I know you primarily play uh uh sci-fi action games, or at least a lot of the time that I know of.
You don't know me.
Apparently not.
I have an equal amount of love for Dragon Age
Mm.
that I do for Mass Effect. We'll put it that way. And of course, those are both BioWare products.
Right, right, right.
But Fallout and Skyrim. The Witcher, and when I get to play Cyberpunk 2077, I'm sure I will love it. Again, both of those are CD Projekt Red
Right,
projects,
right, right.
products.
Right.
But I'm an equal opportunity game player.
Okay.
I love being in worlds that are not our own. Although I really love GTA, and that's our world. Hyper violent,
I mean,
but
I
it's
guess it's our world, but
pretty much our world.
it's a photorealistic simulation of LA, but I've watched you guys play GTA 5 and there's very little real about what's going on there.
Hey man, you haven't been to LA for a while.
That's
You don't
true.
know what it's like on these streets.
They've got alien gravity guns just randomly shooting out of things.
Before all that happened, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Well, into that setting, what I'm hearing that you like is that it is a break away from the real world, and it is fantasy in one way, shape, or form, whether it be high fantasy of a medieval type or the far-flung future. And it's an escape from that reality to where there are abilities and powers that allow you to do superhuman things. Would that be accurate?
yes, but then I also have another answer that just came to mind, and that is another setting that I really love that I have never experienced in a role playing game setting. I have experienced in a tabletop skirmish game setting.
Mm,
My friend Derek introduced me to a Western tabletop game called Gut Shot
nice. Nice.
that I played once, maybe twice with him at a game store in his neighborhood. But a Western, and it's cool. It's a cool Western game. But a Western role playing game like a
Mm.
D&D, but as a Western where you are a posse rather than an adventuring party, I'll bet I would dig that. I bet I would.
I can see that.
And not to bring it back to video games, but Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2 are two of my favorite games of all time. So because I don't get to play a role-playing game in a Western setting, that's why I play video games.
Right?
That's what I'm fulfilling those fantasies with a mouse and keyboard or a controller rather than because I don't have friends around the table with me to
Be able to do that with you.
wrestle horses.
Well, what attracts you to these settings then? Like, what is it about them?
Saloon. Good old smelly saloon. Nothing like
That
it in the
is a
world.
unifying thing in all of those games. Whether it be the tavern
Tavern,
or the local cyber bar
right?
or the actual cowboy saloon.
Every adventure starts in a bar.
Yep. Yep. Whether real life or a game, every adventure starts in a bar.
What attracts me to them? I just wish fulfillment.
Mm.
You get to be, I mean, and that's just any role-playing game. You
Right.
get to be what you're not.
Is there a setting
So-
that you would never choose to play?
Nothing comes to mind.
Are there any video games you avoid?
Maybe
Because
if there was a setting where you have to play a terrorist or something, like you play the role of a terrorist, that doesn't interest me. There's no wish fulfillment there.
So no Star Wars for you.
No, I've never played Star Wars.
Okay. All right.
Any of the Star Wars games. I don't think I have anyway. Anyway,
Other than X-Wing.
I get your joke, but
Yeah.
but I can't think of any setting that if one of you guys said I want to try this game type or world, whatever.
There used to be a
I
game
would
called
be
Big
open
Eyes
to
Little Mouth, and it was anime setting. It was the role-playing game allowed you to basically role-play an anime of your creation.
That's odd. That's interesting.
It was a very interesting concept. I could never really get into it because that is not my fandom. I appreciate
Yeah.
anime, but it is not something I've got a catalog of information about, so a lot of
Yeah.
its meaning
You
is
don't have
lost on me.
You don't have a subscription to Crunchyroll?
I do not.
Mm,
I do
okay.
not.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
It's all right.
There was another game that came out called 1888, and that was a steampunk role-playing game.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty neat. I don't think they make that one anymore. There have been several pirate games.
Yeah. A
yeah.
pirate game would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That would be awesome.
So you're actually extraordinarily open to this stuff.
Yeah.
It feels like it's really hard for you to pin one down.
Because I don't. Who am I to? If everybody in the group says, "Oh, we want to try this pirate game," I'm not going to be the one that goes, "No."
Yeah, but nobody ever has. Like, I don't think that's really too much of a concern, really.
I guess the point is, if it's something we all agree we want to try, then we'll try it.
Okay.
If the only
Although
thing
that's
that
also
would
not
be,
the question.
It's
This is
the
more
que-
just about
All right,
personal
what's your
preference.
question? Restate the question.
In your personal preference, not having to worry about anybody else's opinions or feelings, what is your perfect setting for a game?
Role-playing games are a social
Oh my God.
experience.
I said a game, not even role-playing game. Like any game.
Isn't that what we're talking
Perfect
about
setting.
here?
Perfect setting. What is the perfect setting? All things being equal, no one's going to be upset or argue.
There is no answer to that question. I don't know. I don't know. I would try anything.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
I would try anything.
Good to know. I find that
There
my
are
preferences are all
some
related to cost.
yes. Are you kidding? Cost. Yes, of course.
So yeah,
I will
uh,
say this. Of the attempts that we've made to try other systems, I feel less comfortable and successful in game settings that take place in the real world.
okay.
In our world, because that's less of an escape for me.
We do manage to screw up those campaigns the fastest too. A modern day campaign.
Well, we're about to find out, aren't we?
I know we're gonna find out again. Yeah.
If we have matured
The last
enough.
time we
It's
tried to
been
play
a
a
couple
modern day
decades, I think, so.
campaign, we managed to screw up the direction the campaign was going in so badly we couldn't get back on track, and Scott just scrapped the game. We managed to
That's
escape
right.
an inescapable thing. The
I don't
dice
remember
were on
that.
our side. We dropped bombs into a secret base that was being run by the conspiracy, and we couldn't get back in, and the conspiracy was able to go underground.
I
It
must
was a
not have
real
been part
mess.
of that game. I don't know what you're
You
talking
were
about.
you were a part of that game,
Oh, are
absolutely.
you printing the legend right now?
No, this is
I
this
do not
is
remember this.
it has been the thing that I've been worried about since Scott wanted to do this new GURPS campaign,
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that we managed to paint ourselves so deep into a corner that we couldn't play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's been long enough. I'm a different person now.
Totally.
I am more worldly now.
Mm-hmm.
Quite literally. I've traveled a lot since
Yeah.
that time. So I feel like I've got some more experience as an old man that I can put into this game. So
Be a little bit more constructive
I
in
hope
this
so.
in this setup.
I hope so.
I will be playing my first introduction to this game this Thursday, as of recording tomorrow.
For real.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So we're
Wow.
getting started.
Okay.
We're getting started. Yeah.
So this is your
And
episode
for
zero
everybody who
before the
knows,
group
yeah,
gets together.
Before the group gets together, our old man Scott, our game master, is running one-on-ones with each character so that we can each have our own game zero to get everything set up before we actually get into the actual adventure.
Mm-hmm.
And I drew the short straw, and I am the first one to go. So
You drew the short straw. Wow.
in that I was available.
I think you're the only one who has their character worked out already.
That is correct.
None of the rest of us have figured it out. I've got an
Yeah.
idea, and I'm excited for it, but I also know I'm gonna completely F it up, like I always do.
I feel like that's really
True.
putting a dark cloud over it.
On the nose
Okay.
is what
All right.
you're trying to say.
That is not what I'm trying to say. That
That's
is
what
not.
you're-
This feels
that's what you
very
mean to
pessimistic
be.
of you.
Hey, I have literally been at every game session I've ever played. I know how this goes, Curtis.
You did so well with our last campaign as the monk. As a neutral monk who was clearly like conflicted about everything that was going on. It was great. It helped build that story so well.
See?
Yeah. Getting back to settings. I, like you, also started with D&D first. And so high fantasy is kind of an easy place for me to go. But it's
Yeah.
never really been my favorite.
Really?
Cyberpunk, for a long time, was my favorite. Because it was...
Really?
Yeah, because hardcore future,
Yeah.
technology stuff, you could kind of be superhero-like, but it was common enough that it didn't make you like weird and overpowered. It just kind of leveled the playing field for everybody. You could really play an underdog if you were still completely biological, you know. And I had a lot of fun running our Cyberpunk 2020 games back in the day, because they kind of ran like a movie, and I
Yeah.
we got a bunch of good running gags out of that.
We
Um,
still do, yeah, make references to that.
yeah, there was a running gag for the audience. These guys would find themselves constantly putting their foots in their mouth in dangerous locations, and then they would hear as everybody would be loading guns and pull them out. And, yeah. In the Cyberpunk 2020 book, there is a table called the Hollywood Effects table. And so when
I
they
fell
would
victim to
do,
that.
whenever a particularly outrageous or cinematic death would happen, we would roll on the Hollywood Effects table to see how that person died. And
I'm still
lots
not
of laughs
sure.
around that table.
I'm still not sure how my guy died with that happened. Okay, look, my character was a corporate, right? I wanted a corporate guy,
Yep.
and so this dude, he took a drug. Is that what happened?
Yeah,
Did I voluntarily take it, or did
You
somebody
you voluntarily
slap a
took a
stim on
drug.
me or something? And it was bad. And you rolled on the Hollywood effects table. It was like they came up with your character like falls backward with their arms pinwheeling. So I'm like, what the hell? I don't get it. I don't get it. But that's what happened. That's how my corporate passed away after 2 sessions, I think.
yeah, it might have been pretty fast.
Might have even
pretty
been the
fast.
first session that we played. I don't know. I have a real bad luck with my characters dying in the first or second session.
Didn't you have another one of your characters in Jeff's campaign
That's
fall off a
correct.
wall?
A cliff. We were first level characters, and we had a 300-foot cliff thrust upon us
Okay.
as first level characters with crap climbing skills, because you're first level
Yeah.
characters and you don't have skills
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, go ahead and scale this 300-foot cliff from the top. We had to get to
Oh.
the bottom.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, so it's
that's-
not like I climbed up 10 feet and lost my footing and no. It was, yeah, so yes. Yeah. Poor Kaelin. I had big hopes for him. Big hopes. As I did Victor, my corporate in your Cyberpunk campaign.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good stuff.
I think it's those events that made me just give up trying to roleplay. Because every time I come up with a cool character, they get killed in the first or second session. I'm like, okay, well, why am I even trying anymore?
I mean, I hope we've gotten past that.
I haven't gotten past it, Curtis.
I
I haven't gotten past it.
feel like therapy is probably required for this one.
This isn't what you thought we were going to be talking about, did you?
Not at all.
Uh-uh.
Not at all. No. I like Warhammer 40K as a world and a setting. Makes me comfortable. But actually, that was kind of an honest answer to my question. But yeah, when role playing, I like something that's kind of fun, futuristic, and exciting. In tabletop games, I like it to be my inner comic book nerd pick comes up and it's like I want to do something in teams.
Right.
Yeah, I like teams.
Right.
And so things like Kill Team and Mordheim and Inquisitor, the original 54 millimeter, those things really appeal to me. I like the Warhammer 40K universe because it's my inner 14-year-old still likes its grim darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And because it took me so long to figure out how the world works, now I've got a certain amount of loyalty to it just because my brain finally can wrap around it.
Yeah, you've got sweat equity in that game world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel kind of like responsible for maintaining that. Um, but then like I like Mordheim because it's kind of eternal Halloween town, and I like that
Hmm.
you fight in a weird, broken down city,
Mm-hmm.
and that's cool. But I never quite got into Necromunda because I have a problem with the idea of the gang culture being on this planet, being as big as it is, but yet it's still small. Like it feels like it should be smaller, but in the world bigger, but it feels like the world got smaller and the gangs got bigger. So my brain just makes a disconnect with it, especially the way they're doing it now, where all
Hmm.
of a sudden they're breaking out of the hive, they're on the ash wastes. There are all these vehicles now and extra equipment
It's almost
and
becoming Mad Max.
which when it breaks through into that, then I'll be like, oh, okay, now I get it. I get it. But for a really long time, it was just hard to kind of rationalize for myself going from these little gangs that just existed, ignored by the rest of society. They're so far down the totem pole that it doesn't matter what they do down in the sump. It just doesn't matter. You're just a bunch of gangs. It doesn't matter as
Yeah.
long as
Let them
the
wipe each
tithes
other
are
out.
met. Yep. And then all of a sudden they became important to like the houses of Necromunda. And it's like, really?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
seems to break the spirit of the game. Like you want street fights in
Yeah.
Necromunda. Well, not
Yeah.
street, but you know what I mean.
I mean, they are streets. They're just
That
under a giant dome.
yeah, but that is
Yeah.
what Necromunda seemed like to me. But now it's like those those gangs they've gotten rich
Yeah, they're
now.
mafia
So
families
so
now.
now they've developed into crime families.
Yeah. And
That's what Necromunda
no
feels like
harm.
now.
It's not, this isn't, no, not to yuck anybody's yum, because it is, as a game, I see the attraction of the game. It's just that the setting doesn't attract me anymore the way that it used to.
Mm. Okay.
Um, uh, Age of Sigmar doesn't grab me the way that Warhammer Fantasy used to. Like, I never
Hmm.
quite got into Warhammer Fantasy, but I got close
I've never
because
played it.
it was a lot of like move and wheel. It was a lot of movement, and so the actual crunch of it kept me from playing.
Hmm.
But I really like the world of it. Age of Sigmar is really neat. I think they've come a long way with the setting and how they've developed it. But I'm just not interested. It just doesn't get me. It just doesn't get me. It's kind of the same thing with Dungeons and Dragons. I like Dungeons and Dragons as a rule set. I like the Forgotten Realms as a setting. I liked Greyhawk as a setting. But I could do without like like all the other stuff. Like Ravenloft seems neat. I don't want to play D&D in that setting. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to do vampire hunting in D&D. I don't want to do Dark Sun.
Okay.
I don't want to do Starjammer. I don't want to be flying around in a ship made for space, not a spaceship. You know, sail ship,
It's actually spell jammer. I just want to prevent some.
space,
I just
space
want to.
jammer. Space.
I just want to prevent some unsubs.
Oh my god. My brain is just completely disconnected today, apparently, from my catalog of knowledge. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Like that
Yeah.
idea
Yeah.
of being able to those settings for that rule set don't appeal to me at all. I like GURPS for modern and future. I don't really like the idea of GURPS for fantasy.
Right. I don't unless you just really hate Dungeons and Dragons as a
Yeah,
product. I don't see any reason to play GURPS to play a fantasy campaign of GURPS.
yeah,
But
yeah,
that's just my experience. I've always I say always again from the age of 8 or 9, I've I've always known Dungeons and Dragons. That
yeah.
was the fantasy game setting and rule set that I learned. And so I don't see any purpose in trying another one. What's the
Mm,
point?
mm,
Unless it does something so different that attracts me to wanting to try that particular game set or rule set because I want to be in that game setting.
Which one did we play with Scott? That was it Classics Adventures or something? When we did that D&D alternative and we had to make like 3 characters because you died so fast?
Oh, Dungeon Crawl Classics,
Yes, Dungeon Crawl
I
Classics.
think.
That
Yeah,
was an
that
interesting
one.
game.
It's an interesting concept,
But again, that feels more like
but
medieval. That setting is like medieval, like, but actual medieval. Like you could get cholera and die,
oh,
as opposed to high fantasy.
I guess I don't know. I don't
I
think.
just remember dying a lot.
Yeah, well, I
A
mean that's kind
lot.
of the point, right? I mean, your characters are level 0, right? They're not even adventurers. They're NPCs.
Yeah.
Unless I'm thinking of a different game.
No, no,
But your
that's the right
characters are
one.
basically NPCs, and you've got like 5 of them, and
Yeah.
they're really not expected to live.
No.
So, again, for me, that doesn't have an. Okay, I guess finally we're getting to the answer to the question of the segment. That doesn't have any appeal to me. I
Mm.
don't. Sure, it might be funny to say, oh, let's play this game for an afternoon, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's a single serving game
Mm.
where you
Mm.
play it for one afternoon. Let's see how dumb all of my character deaths can be, and
Right.
haha, wasn't that funny? Okay, moving on. But because there's no real progression, you don't get to live in this other person's shoes.
Right.
There's no wish fulfillment in that, especially because you've got up to 5 characters you're running simultaneously. You can't role play that. I can't role play that. I can barely role play one character. I can't split my allegiances between 5 different characters. That's just not fun for me. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Now, I know that you primarily have to play uh, Kill Team with me because I introduced you to Kill Team. But does the setting of the 40K universe in that context appeal to you? Like, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it makes sense. It makes sense. The orcs don't really make sense in that setting because the orcs are a horde. So to have a crack team of commandos, that's more of a, and I think that's what, well, not I think, that is why I selected the faction that I did, because that tribe of orcs sort of emulate human
right.
culture and behavior. That made sense. That helped me come to terms with it. But I think that's probably why there's no Tyrannid kill team. Unless there is,
There
and
is.
I'm not aware of it. There
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
Okay, so see, that doesn't
But
make
you
any
use
sense to me. I wouldn't want to be.
you use infiltrator stock, so it's like Gene Stealers.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lictors.
But anyway, again, but those are horde armies. So but I do like the Grey Knights. That absolutely makes sense. Especially because I just played Chaos Gate Demon Hunters over the summer. Check out the
Right.
playlist if you haven't already.
Card.
And that makes sense because you've got 4 knights.
Yeah.
Every mission you're running with 4 knights. That is a kill team.
Yeah.
I mean, in Kill Team, the tabletop game, you actually get 6. So, I mean, that is an embarrassment of riches.
We'll see
Right
how
there.
they do.
So yes, I enjoy Kill Team as a game setting. I felt like Warhammer 40K was cumbersome,
As a game.
especially having to carry around 2 suitcases
Yeah.
of models for one game.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, and it looked really cool when you've got all your dudes on the table, but it felt like it was just a lot to manage,
Yeah.
especially when they all do different stuff. You're like, okay, now I've got to remember 45 different rules at least with Kill Team, you can sort of focus your knowledge a little bit. I still forget stuff, but
Well, yeah, we don't play enough to
Abs.
keep it ready. Now we've also dipped into MechWarrior BattleTech, and
you say we.
yeah, because you play MechWarrior and I bought BattleTech.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not the same.
it is the same setting though.
Yes.
The setting's the same, and that's
Uh-huh.
that's the focus. Now I know we both like giant robots, and right now that's kind of the appeal for me, is they are giant robots fighting each other. As I've gotten older, my brain is starting to have a problem with the logistics of giant robots fighting each other, and why you would choose to use giant robots that are bipedal for the most part, as opposed to something more stable, like on tracks, or something like that. All that aside,
Because they're giant robots, Curtis. That's
yeah,
literally all you need to know.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
There's no. That's it.
Well, I hear the joke that you're making, and I appreciate
I'm
the
not
joke
making
that
a
you're
joke.
making.
I'm speaking truth. I'm
But-
spitting truth, Curtis.
The setting of it in general has a lot of major fans, including a lot of the viewers of
For
MechWarrior
real.
Monday.
For real.
And the depth of it, like I've barely dipped my toe, and it's already pretty overwhelming. But I haven't found that connection yet to the setting to be like, okay, this is where I'm from. This is my clan. This is my house. This is what the design is going to be on my mechs. How do I build a lance? How am I thematically building a lance? I haven't gotten that far yet.
Oh, yeah.
For the video game, do you have thoughts like that when you're looking at stuff, or is it more opportunistic right now, especially because of the depth of the game that you're at right now? Like, is there in your head, are you like, well, as a mercenary band, I should have like a commando or two with like a Thunderfoot, or like I don't know
No.
what it, no.
I do well because at the point we're at in the game, which is still very early, you don't have access. You
Right.
can't make those choices yet because you just don't have the resources.
Well,
So
even
you
beyond
fight with what
available
you've
choices,
got.
sure, but like, is there a dream? Like part of
No,
part
not
of what
yet.
makes a really good setting
I don't know
is the
anything about
fact
yet.
that as a person outside of the game, you can fantasize, dream, and kind of write your own story about what would
Yeah.
happen in that
Yeah.
universe, right? So
Yeah.
like for Kill Team and 40K, I have got my brain has developed all kinds of characters and stories that go along with these kill teams that go down, whether they be Space Marine, Astra Militarum, Kroot, whatever. I'm not at that point with BattleTech yet. And it doesn't sound like you are with MechWarrior yet either. Like, I know
No.
I like the Shadowhawk and the Marauder just because of other stuff, but I don't know about anything else. Like, Locusts seem cool. I like the chicken mech.
Locusts are not cool. No. That's why I add a chicken sound every time
I
you
don't
blow
know
one
if you've
up.
noticed, but every time they die in the game, they go bagok. And
That's me. I did that. I'm
They
adding
go-
the bagok
go
sound because it's funny.
it
I
is
think
funny.
it's funny.
It'd be really great
No,
if we had a
know
short of
enough
those.
about
actually.
I don't know enough about the BattleTech / MechWarrior world.
Mm.
I'm learning a lot from the people who are commenting on those videos.
Mhm.
This is a population of player and viewer who have a huge amount of knowledge.
Yeah.
At least that's my perception.
I think they've
These are
demonstrated
people
that.
who
Yeah.
have tips and tricks every single episode we release. They give us great ideas,
Mm-hmm.
things to think about, and 99% of it is helpful, supportive, encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great.
Yeah, it's a really great community.
I love that about the people that are watching and commenting on our MechWarrior videos. I feel like these are people who feel about MechWarrior and their knowledge that, given the things that they're saying, that you have that same level of affinity and knowledge for the Warhammer 40K universe. You know a lot of the official lore. So do these people about MechWarrior BattleTech, and I just don't know that yet. I'm still a neophyte mercenary company leader who is just scraping to get by.
But it's not affecting your enjoyment of the game.
So no, not
So
at all.
even this
because
light understanding of the setting is still fine.
I find myself wondering if I would still be playing if I wasn't playing in co-op.
Really? Okay.
I think that having not me by myself and 3 AI people and giant robots, but having 3 human pilots piloting giant robots, that's fun.
Nice. Okay.
When you're playing by yourself and you've got 3 AI robots, the AI pilots isn't going to walk in front of you and stop right when you're about to fire a bunch of rockets at an enemy who's in front of you. That's happened here.
Yeah, it has.
With us.
And no, we can't even point out one particular person because I've watched all 3 of you do it to each other.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
And that's part of it, is you're 3 different people trying to communicate what you're doing while also keeping an eye on that aspect of the game is what draws me to it. That's why I like it. If I were playing by myself, I wouldn't play it nearly as often as I do. Nice. And I may have gone, "Oh, that was fun," but after 10 hours I'm done. I got my experience out of it. Playing with friends, that's where it's at.
Okay.
That game particular.
The big question then is there a setting that you wish a game would embrace that you haven't found yet? Is there something missing that you would like to see?
I don't know enough about what's available to answer that question. I could say, gee, I sure wish that there was a game where you were a pack of werewolves. There's probably a game where you play a pack of werewolves.
Just assuming your own knowledge. Because the best case scenario is somebody's like, "Oh, yeah, that game totally exists. Here it is. Here's a link." In the comments.
There we go.
You know what I mean?
Problem solved.
So, but like, given your current knowledge, is there a setting that you wish some game system would embrace or had?
I alluded to it earlier. I would love to try a role-playing game in a Western setting. I think that would be a lot of fun. Just give me Red Dead Redemption, but in a role-playing game.
And not like Supernatural, not like Mystic, but a straight up just cowboy game.
Yes.
Straight up
Correct.
natural world cowboy game. Word.
Right.
Nice.
I think that would be fun. So I'm sure there is one. I know there are tabletop skirmish games like Gutshot, or I think there's one called Six Gun or something. I don't know. Maybe it exists. If it does, make a comment.
I know there used to be Deadlands and stuff like that, but that was more supernatural based. It was Haunted West as opposed to just the Wild West.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is what GURPS can do.
Sure.
I'm sure there's a Western setting. I think there is.
Sure.
A Western setting for GURPS. So if you are a GURPS
GURPS
fan,
doesn't
you can
count
do
because
anything.
GURPS is too
you want a dedicated rules. You want the Dungeons and Dragons of cowboys.
yeah.
That's what you're asking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I guess I would like to see. I enjoy the versatility of GURPS because
Mm.
if, in answer to your question that you're posing now, you legitimately come up with something that no other game designer has thought of and published a rules set for, go ahead and try it with GURPS.
See if it works.
But I really enjoy the focus of a dedicated rule set for a game. Dungeons and Dragons, Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
Those are designed specifically for that setting. Everything about it is thought through. GURPS is like, oh, you want to do a Western game? Well, here's the rules for a revolver, which you could also do in a modern setting. So just there's that. And here's horse travel, which we've pulled out of our fantasy subsetting because they have horses there too. And it's just kind of like you just cherry pick what you need, the rules that you need, and you make a game out of it. And that's perfectly fine. But when a company and a team of game designers get together and they say, let's make the most badass cowboy posse game that we can come up with, and they think of everything that they can possibly think of, down to, well, I don't even want to speculate, but that's when you get some really good juice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, cool. I guess the question is now off to the people. What are your favorite settings? Do you know of a cowboy game? Is there a game system or a setting that you wish a game system would embrace? I know I had a problem thinking of one at all because I
but you
kind of
browbeat
thought
me for 40 minutes. Great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, that's what the people come to see.
I feel betrayed.
And that is-
I thought you were gonna have a great answer.
Oh, no.
That's it.
Well, the problem is
That's it.
all of my favorite
Done.
settings, all of my favorite settings have had a game in one way, shape, or form. Like the first thing that comes up is like a 1920s adventure serial kind of thing. I would love to see something
Indiana
like that.
Jones kind of a thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
They made that. And
They did? Is it an Indiana Jones game?
yeah, well, no,
Officially?
it's not Indiana Jones. It was like called Adventure or something. It was a D20 game. And it came out, and it was neat. The setting was neat.
That would be fun.
1888 was a lot of fun. But I've kind of gotten into a rut in my old age where, and I'm only half joking when I say that, where like I've found the settings that I'm very comfortable with, that I really like, that I'm willing to spend the brain power on, because I've got, I work in a creative field. There's only a certain amount of creative juice that you've got to be able to use, especially in these unprecedented times.
Yeah.
And so when I'm coming up with something, I kind of need like, I'm really noticing this with BattleTech. Just even getting my mind wrapped around the setting as a whole is taking some effort. It's taking some effort because I've got like 6 or 7 settings just sitting in here that are ready to process. They've been thought out, they're cataloged, there's encyclopedic knowledge in the background to be able to make things work and understand. Having the bandwidth to be like, all right, now we're going to have this entire other fake history and the future that exists there and how those things work. It's a little daunting. It's a little daunting.
Yeah.
And so when I think about other settings, I'm like, do I want another setting or do I just want it to be in one of the ones that I'm happy in right now? And I feel like that's kind of one of the ways that these companies get us to be able to stick around is once you get committed to something, you're kind of ready to be committed to it. And
Right.
so,
That's why source books exist.
yeah, yeah.
You just keep inserting hooks.
Into the bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the
So,
same
yeah.
way about video games. I find it very difficult to play multiple video games at the same time because I get the rules confused. I
Mm,
forget stuff.
mm,
Abilities maybe that a character has in one game that I don't have in another
mm-hmm.
game. So similar, not exactly the same what you're talking about, but I think just having the bandwidth is the similarity there. That's the denominator. Is yeah, how much can you keep in your head?
I also run into a problem with licensed games.
What?
Things that are based on existing IPs, like Star Trek or
Uh
Star
huh.
Wars or Battlestar Galactica or anything
Uh-huh.
like that. Like my brain will Marvel superheroes. I was a Marvel zombie hardcore when I was a kid into my 20s, right? And so I got the Marvel superheroes game because I wanted to play as Iron Man because he was my favorite forever. But when I got into the game, I was like, oh, I don't want to role play Tony Stark. I want to create my own character. Oh, I don't want to be somebody else's creation.
Mm.
And that became a problem. So, like, Star Wars, I'm not Luke Skywalker. I don't want to play. Like, am I going to be this random person on the? These events already happened. How do I play into this? Star Trek, it's like, am I the bridge crew on the Enterprise? Like, how does that work? What's going on? My brain has a real
Mm.
hard time working with licensed products. Star Wars, I kind of got past. My buddy Zeke ran a really neat Star Wars game, and it takes
Yeah, you
place
were
during the
you were
time of
your
the Empire.
twitchy hacker
Yes,
guy. Yes.
yeah, 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 and and that was neat because there's enough. I feel like the creation of all of the extraneous media for Star Wars now gives my brain permission to be able to create sub stories in holes in the
Yes.
timeline.
Yes.
But I don't necessarily feel that way about a lot of other things.
Yeah.
You know?
Extended universes in multiple media do a lot of the groundwork for helping somebody with the problem you're having right now allow themselves to imagine themselves in that world without feeling like they have to be the guy that did the thing in the movie.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I mean, with Star Trek, there's not the Enterprise isn't the only Federation ship.
No.
There's thousands. So if you're doing a Star Trek role playing game, you're on one of the other ships.
Yeah.
It could even be, before or after the time of the Enterprise. Maybe Kirk and his crew are long gone,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Picard and his crew are long gone, or whoever Discovery is about. I don't. There's so many Star Trek shows now, I've lost track of them.
Yeah.
Apparently there's Brave New Worlds now. Is
Strange
that what
New
it's called?
Worlds,
Strange New Worlds.
which is yeah.
Didn't even hear about it until Dean was talking about it the other night while we were playing GTA. I'm like, what is this? What is the other show? Lower Decks. All these things.
I
These
love Lower
all
Decks. Yeah.
expand the world and give people the permission or the extra rope they need to imagine other activities in that world. And I think that's why the side stories for Star Wars are becoming more successful.
Yeah. It's just opening things up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There was
Okay.
okay, I'll shut up.
No. It's all right. It's all right. We've really hit this. We've really nailed this one. And now it's to you, oh audience member watching this now. Settings. Your favorites. What's missing? Which ones do you avoid? Let us know in the comments. Probably could have gone on longer about that actually.
Yeah, but I wonder if we ought to end the episode there. Because that was a pretty good discussion, I think.
I agree. Yeah.
Like, I see you've got relearning GURPS as your thing. You're
It
hyped
is not
about.
anymore.
Oh, you've changed your.
Yeah.
You have a new thing,
I have a new thing.
or you just don't have anything.
No, I have a new thing.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Okay.
So are you ready to talk about stuff we're hyped about?
No games for old men.
We got to make this quick. My beer's empty.
Oh, word. Okay. So I'll go first. Hyped about this week, since this is an extended length episode. I just finished reading the book Red Shirts
Ah, yes.
by Michael Scalzi.
John
and
Scalzi. Why
John
you keep calling
Scalzi.
him Michael?
I want to call him Michael Scalzi because
that his middle name?
Nope.
I wonder if that's his middle name.
Honestly, I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, think his name is Michael. From John Scalzi, and that is correct in the doobly-doo and here in this picture of the cover. And it is great. And I don't want to talk about anything in the book, but I
Curtis?
enjoyed it so much. But
John Scalzi's middle name is Michael.
is it really?
It really is.
So I've... This is so meta, and it plays into the actual themes of this book
I have
that...
never seen that before, but
Okay. Well,
John Michael Scalzi II, as a matter
If-
of fact.
if you enjoy Star Trek on a meta level, and you have an appreciation for the idea of bad sci-fi, and ever thought, why would people do something like that? I cannot recommend this book enough. It has so many twists. I
Really?
listened to it as an audiobook, and I do suggest listening to it as an audiobook because Will Wheaton is the narrator, and he does a very good job with it.
Mm-hmm.
The book gets through 5 hours of itself and feels like it ends. And then there's another 2.5 hours of story, and you're just going, what? How'd that happen? And it plays into the tropes of Star Trek sci-fi and then turns them on their heels. And
Did you say it's set in Star Trek
it's not.
universe? But it's a
It's not,
parody or
but
an
it
homage.
it acknowledges
Okay.
It acknowledges the effect that Star Trek had on science fiction.
Sure.
So
Well,
yeah,
culture.
it is.
Culture. You just mention Red Shirt, and people know that just means that they're an expendable.
Crew member.
That is an expendable person. Even people who don't know Star Trek, they've probably just gleaned that term from culture, from
It's
other
in the
people
cultural
around
zeitgeist.
them.
Yeah.
So you just, yeah.
It's great. It's great, and it has, like, every time you think you've gotten the final twist in this book, it hits you with another one. It is such a fun read. I do think that Mr. Scalzi uses the phrase he said, she said, they said, some version of pronoun said too much, and that really comes through when it's narrated. But
What else would you have them say?
I would have you listen to it,
Or
and then you
word
would
that.
understand what I'm saying.
Is it just using the pronoun? Would you prefer to have someone's name thrown in every now and then, like Curtis said, Dan said? Or are you looking for said to be replaced, like Curtis replied, Dan quipped? Because Stephen King will have words with you about that.
Yeah, I would have you listen to the audiobook to understand what I'm saying. It is difficult for me to define without doing things that might ruin the story. So
Okay.
yeah, but
Huh.
but regardless, that is a minor quibble. It is a great book. I highly suggest everybody read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's surprising. That's
Yeah.
surprising. That is not tabletop related. And that
No,
was
No, it's just something I'm hyped about.
Yeah. It's that's something I've struggled with this segment of like, oh, I don't know any, I don't have any tabletop stuff I'm hyped about. I don't know what to talk about.
It just so happens that a lot of things I get hyped about are tabletop related. That's all.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Well, you raved about Willow a few episodes ago, so that's not tabletop related either. There
I mean,
was.
it's kind of like a D&D
Did you
game.
ever play the Willow tabletop game though? There was a board
No.
game. There
No.
was a board game, and I had it, and I don't know where it is.
Huh.
It's probably got sold at a garage sale.
That makes sense. Willow.
I wish that I could. I wish I had it now to try it, because I had it when I was a kid, and
Right.
not a kid. When did that movie come out? 88?
Yes.
Yeah, I was a kid then.
Yeah.
I was a kid. I was.
Yeah, we were
12.
like,
I was 12.
yeah, like
And
11, 12.
So, yeah, I probably just didn't get it then, because I was much dumber than I am now. Much dumber. I mean, almost moron. I'm surprised I survived this long. Honestly.
Good job. Okay.
Honestly, just luck is all that I've got going for me, apparently. Anyhow,
What are you hyped about, Dad?
well, I thought we were going to talk about relearning GURPS. So you pulled the rug out from under me. So we are in the precipice of beginning. In fact, tomorrow you are going to do your episode 0
Yeah.
with your character, where you get to flesh out your character and help them become a real thing.
Yeah.
So this and here's what we were talking about earlier is real world settings hold the least amount of interest for me as a role-playing game player.
Right.
But that's what this setting is. So what I'm trying to do with my character is be somebody that I'm just trying to make someone like weird and quirky, and I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I still don't want to say who it is, what
Right.
it is, because
Right.
I don't know if the other people that are in our campaign watch this or not. But if they do, I don't want to spoil it. But learning the new rules, not the new rules,
You're relearning the rules.
relearning the GURPS rules. You know, I'm having to it's pretty much just try, because like we said, there's only so much bandwidth.
Yeah.
Just forget everything that I know about Dungeons and Dragons, because I'm sure I'm gonna get confused in the moment. It's like, oh, I'll take a 5-foot step or something.
Right.
Is that a thing?
Right.
Is that a thing? Attack of opportunity, not a thing.
Or even just the number of dice that you throw.
And yes, this just uses D6s.
Yep.
GURPS does. There's no polyhedral dice. It's just you just use a 6-sided die.
Yep.
Potentially several 6-sided dice. So I'm looking forward to it. I have been doing quote unquote research by watching documentaries, reading books, and listening to podcasts that I think my character would watch, read, and listen to.
I bet you're getting a hell of a kick out of those too.
I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun. You know what it is.
I know what it is. So,
you know what
So,
I'm
yeah.
talking about.
yeah.
But yeah,
I'm excited
that's
to
what
be
I'm
able to
looking
talk
forward-
about this
because
publicly.
we're right on the edge. I guess that's why it's the thing I'm hyped about this week, because we're right there. Like, I'll probably do my episode 0 in the next week or two.
Yeah.
Probably. So, you know, I'm looking forward to hearing how yours goes.
I've already been talking to Scott and been like, we're going to do a serious character review to make sure I filled out this sheet right.
Beforehand? Have you already done that?
We're doing it tomorrow. The
Oh,
first
okay,
thing.
just
yeah.
before you start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you? How long are you gonna go? Is
Don't
it
know.
just you're just meeting
We're starting at 6,
and
and we're going to see what's up.
go until you're done? All right.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I look forward to hearing about it. Hopefully, you can share. I don't know. Maybe not.
We'll see. We'll see.
Oh.
We'll see.
The
Is
people
that
on the
thunder
roof,
and lightning?
people on the roof are back.
Oh, there we
No,
go.
that was the roof hatch being thrown open.
I actually didn't
So-
hear it. I'll probably hear it in your audio.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Well, that seems like it's probably a good time to stop.
Good
so that you
timing.
can get your batten down the hatches done. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram. Come back for Mech Warrior Monday and take part in the live chat at 9 a.m. Pacific. We are growing on the Tickety Talks. So if you're on the Tickety Talks, we're on the No Games for Old Men, and you can find us there. Yeah.
and
Comment,
if you're on
like,
TikTok,
subscribe.
stop stealing people's cars for a
Yeah, no
TikTok
shit.
challenge. Just stop doing that. That's just stupid. Just dumb. Stop it.
And with
Cancel.
that, we'll see you next week.
No games. Oh, yeah.